Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bao, and this week we're gonna make an LED light sign. This light sign is for my friend. It was for his birthday. Here's what it looks like. Came out a lot bigger than I thought. So I'm gonna walk you through the process of how to generate the image, make it on Solidworks, and then routing all of the LED lights. So let's get started. Let's generate our image. Let's go into Microsoft Edge. Now we're going to use their AI feature called CoPilot. Now CoPilot is basically ChatGPT 4.0, and if you wanted to, you can pay for ChatGPT 4.0, but since Bing is using the 4.0 model, it can actually generate images for you for free. So our friend Spirit Animal is a sloth. He loves coffee, and one of his key features is he wears round glasses. Let's ask CoPilot to make us an image of a sloth drinking coffee wearing round glasses. And nice thing is it generates 4 images at a time. These images has too much detail, so we're gonna change up the prompt. We can say make it a cartoon, and these ones a little better. You can keep asking it to do more. So I kept on doing this until I found one that I liked. I just downloaded it. Now I have a PNG version. We're in SolidWorks. Let's go to the front plane. We're gonna sketch, and I added the sketch picture right here. You can also search for it. Picture, open our sloth, and right now there's no button right here, so we're gonna close this out. We're gonna go to options and we're gonna go add in, and now there's an add-in for here for auto trace, so we'll select that, and if I double click on this photo, I have this little arrow here now. This allows me to auto trace, so I want to auto trace this black, so I'm gonna choose our little color selector and click on the black and then begin trace. And as you can see, it did a pretty good job. There's some blemishes here and there, but I want it to be a little more accurate. So we're gonna try a different method. So we're gonna get out of this. We're gonna go to a different method, and the method is with Inkscape. So Inkscape is a free open source vector graphics editor. Using Inkscape, we can turn this colored image into a black and white image. So we open up Inkscape. First thing we're going to do is change our document properties. We want to change the page to whatever size the sign is going to be. So in this case, I want it to be about 20 inches. We can just drag and drop the image that we want. Now we have our image. Pull it out here, and then I'm going to drag this as big as I can. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And now I click on my image, and I'm going to trace my bit. We can expand this to see what this looks like. If you hover over these tell you what exactly it does. You can play around with this and it'll give you better image. And I already played around with it earlier, so I kind of know that I can reduce my threshold so I can have just the black outline. And then you can just apply it. So here's an important part. After you get to this portion, there's a black and white image that we generated. We're going to highlight this picture, and then we can save as. We're going to change it to a DFX. And I just highlighted everything here and press OK. And we're back in SolidWorks. Grab that DFX file and just drag it over. Make sure we change this to inches. Go next, and we can just finish. Now we have our outline. You can see some blemishes here and there. We're gonna have to go in and fix these. There are parts that doesn't really matter for us, but I want to make sure this is a good size for our piece. So I'm gonna measure this point to this point, and it's about 19. And let's do this point down to this point, and this is about 19. I'm gonna go to the front plane, and we'll go to the front plane, select the chain, and convert the entity. And after I have that, I can trim off anything that I don't like and just redraw in lines that would look better. And we're gonna extrude this out 0.25. So when if I hide this mod, if I hide our sketch, we just have the base. This is pretty similar to machining, and then you would just shave off whatever. So we're gonna basically do the same thing. We can start outlining all of these arms and claws. So same thing, we're gonna actually click on this front plane, we're gonna sketch, and we can right click the chain and convert the entity. And there we go. So now I can do an extrude cut, and I'm gonna give it up to offset to the surface, and I want it to be 1 inch thick. And after that, and now we have a cut piece that's going down where we can lay down our LED strips. Just repeat this process for the rest of the outline. Now that we have everything outlined, we're gonna make this little lip on the side, so when we press the top piece over it, it won't completely bottom out, leaving space for our cables to route through it. Grab the bottom piece of here, and we're gonna sketch. So now we're gonna offset this. We're going to do the reverse, and we're going to do it by a small margin. 0.025 is enough. And then I'm going to extrude, and I'm only going to extrude slightly up to the top, give myself some space, and I'm going to do by 0.0.
0.05, and I'm gonna thin this out so it basically gets the whole edge. So here's our little lip that our top piece can sit into. And now just repeat this for everything else. If you want to see what it looks like, we can go in and hide the sketch, and there you go. Looks a lot cleaner, smoother. We can see the lip on everything. Now the next step is we have to figure out how to route all the wires through it. And so the easiest way would be to create a hole through everything. So we can just find like a random spot. Let's say here, I'm going to sketch out a little hole. So it's good to do a arc or semicircle. That way we don't have to print it with support. And then we just extrude cut. We'll dimension this. Let's say this will be 12 millimeters. And then we're going to dimension this off of here. Earlier I made it 0.1. And so I'm just going to make it a little higher than it, so it doesn't have any problems. And then I'm going to extrude cut, and I'm gonna just do it all the way up as far as you want. Grab it here and just go all the way through. So this would work in this location. Now we'll have a hole that's going all the way through everything. You just repeat this until you have enough holes that you want throughout your process. We're gonna need to create all these outlines again so we can have the push-in parts. So what I'm gonna do now is so I'm gonna actually create a new part, and so there's an easy way to do this. So you just need to grab the sketch of the outline, going to copy it, Control C, and then in my new part over here, I can go to the front plane and I can just paste, and there we go. Now we have the part, and what I want to do now is create each one of these pieces. So back to the front plane, sketch the plane. Instead of converting entity, we have to account for tolerance. So I'm just gonna do the same thing basically, but I'm gonna make it slightly smaller. So I'm gonna do it at 0.1 millimeter. We have the outline at 0.1 millimeter, giving us the tolerance, and then we can extrude this to whatever depth I want the black pieces. So I have this piece, but I want light to be able to shine through. So we're gonna go to the back side and we're gonna hollow this out. And we're gonna sketch, and this time we're going to offset again, select our piece, and we're gonna offset the entity again. And we want this to be slightly thicker because the way it's gonna print, some extra thickness, otherwise the printer may fail on those really thin pieces. So I'm gonna do it at 0.1 and then extrude cut this up to the thickness I want.
So I made this little test fixture, and each little squares is 0.2 millimeter difference.
And the brown one still works, but it's really transparent through the 0.2, and I do like the 0.6, so most of my prints I'm gonna try it out at 0.6. And after doing the test, it was 0.6 millimeters. So there we go, and press OK. And now I have a cut piece that we can print out. Okay, so now just repeat this step for everything, and you're done. Our printer's not big enough to print out this giant piece, so we're gonna have to segment this into pieces. So easiest ways to do that is go to the front plane, and we're gonna just basically draw a line of how we want to split it. And we can just do a extrude cut, but we're gonna make the cut really, really thin. So here's this thin feature, 0.001 millimeter. It's such a small number that we won't have any gaps. And I'm gonna cut. So it's gonna keep all the bodies, and now we have our piece segmented. So here I have the actual cuts. Here are I split my top ones. I wanted to make sure the lines weren't going into places that you would normally stare at, specifically like the nose and the mouth. And then I separated the lines so it doesn't run across the eyes. So the next thing we want to do is figure out how we want to connect everything. And I thought that I can use these dovetails. So I just basically extruded a small piece out of it and just filled up a whole bunch of sides. It kind of locked up. There's definitely other methods you can use, but I thought I'd try this one. And that's it. Now we can just start printing out everything and assemble. Alright everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We were able to make the giant LED light sign. It didn't work properly because I ended up shorting some of the leads. But other than that, it came out really nice. The colors really did pop and it turned out pretty well, so I don't know.